Hello. I am just going to read off of the paper because I'm not sure if this is supposed to be just me telling my experiences, but they're all in the paper. When I was told I had to do an internship, there was definitely a feeling of anxiety. I came into this program with minimal experience, just an overall passion for broadcasting and production. I was able to intern at a small production studio in Hartford with a man named Joe Young. Joe is a cartoonist originally, but has since written a book, produced a film with Hollywood actors, and is now the executive producer for a new boy band group out of Florida. When I went in for the interview, I expected to be extremely intimidated by such a successful man, but it was quite the opposite. I met a plainclothes, very down to earth guy. As afraid as I was, I explained that I barely had any experience and he was very accommodating. He allowed me to shadow everyone for the first few weeks. One of my first tasks given to me a few weeks before the semester started, but I was so excited to see what the job was all about, I volunteered anyway early. I got to help with Joe's red carpet event for his feature film Diamond Rough, which was filmed completely in the greater Hartford area. I literally did everything from making last minute phone calls to actually rolling out the red carpet before the event. So once everything was set up, I was asked to work at the VIP table, giving those guests their VIP packages and trying to make everyone feel welcome. This task was somewhat out of my realm of comfort because I'm not a very social person, which is what the duty required. I was able to meet the mayor, a few congressmen, and some actors from the movie. And I had never done anything like that in my life, and it was incredible. It was a great experience. I was able to shadow the interviews that were taking place and the filming process of the event. I learned from that first task that Joe does not micromanage. He doesn't have time. He puts a lot of trust into those he tasks, and it scared me being so new, but it also gave me a greater respect for the job. Young Studios is a well-oiled machine because of the people he has in charge. When he met me, he told me things this thing has to run smoothly even when I'm not around. So I'm going to give you the tools, and I expect that you use them to keep us moving forward. Young Studios is a small company, and Joe Young is the man in charge. All ideas go through him. He deals with the production side of the business as well as the business side of the business. His second in command is Janetta Bennett, who serves as his operational manager. She oversees the finances as well as contracts. She oversees the finances as well as the contracts. As and She oversees the admin aspect of Young Studios. Kyle Young serves as a co-producer on the productions, most of them, and he also works closely with Joe and Janetta. And although Janetta works with them, she doesn't necessarily have any subordinates. Joe is her boss, as well as Kyle's boss. So it's kind of like they're on the same level, they just don't have the same job. Um, Amanda is Joe's assistant, and she's also a former Capitol intern. She supervises the interns that he has now, the current interns, as well as keep up with Joe and his ever-changing schedule. She is the first line of management as far as any questions or concerns come in. As an intern, I work with everyone, but if I have an issue, I talk to Amanda or Kyle. The company structure isn't formal because it's so small and family-oriented, and I really believe I lucked out with this assignment because working in an environment like that where it's easy to ask questions and your opinions actually valued really makes it easier to want to participate. I was never embarrassed to ask questions or to just try when given an assignment that I may have not had much experience in. Within the first few weeks, I was writing treatments and voiceover scripts. I made flyers, updated old contracts, and I redesigned them using what I learned from classes at Capitol. In addition to working with Joe and Young Studios, part of my task as an intern was to assist Kyle Young, the co-producer, and he's also Joe's son, with his film and digital media class 2 days a week. Because I don't have much experience working with kids, it was also a way for me to learn this major as I go along. I had only ever edited pictures before I began as an intern, and during the course of the semester, I was helping students edit and do voiceovers for their projects. Cal gave me the opportunity to give the kids my own idea of a project and work with them to complete it. To my dismay, and probably the dismay of many teachers I see, I realized that not everyone wanted to participate. Some kids would act out or leave the room and wouldn't come back. Um, and it just made me want to try to come up with some fun and innovative projects. But I learned that if you give all your attention to those that don't want to be helped, you lose valuable time with those who do. So my goal is not to be an educator, but I appreciated being put in the position to work with the high school kids because it gave me an opportunity to honestly be more vocal when I'm normally quiet, and I was able to learn more about production and get involved with it. Kinsella is a performing arts school, so whenever a performance is scheduled, the film students are asked to record it. So each student gets a chance to record a performance, and if they have questions or need help, I'm able to provide assistance. I was able to apply things I learned from TV production and photography class, like shot composition and focusing the camera for a shot. And I would say the biggest lesson I learned from working with high school students is to be comfortable in the lead position, to be confident in what I'm saying. And I believe Joe put me in that position purposely to get me comfortable because I'm not a big talker, nor was I very proactive in speaking my opinions before. In addition to working with film students, there were a few times I assisted Joe as he traveled to different schools to give cartoon workshops. A lot of what Joe does involves children when he isn't producing movies. So that was a lot of what I did while I interned. It's gratifying to help kids understand something you're passionate about. And I made sure to ask questions and take down a bunch of notes because, as I expected, he asked me one time to head the workshop under his guidance. Um, Joe is the greatest at kind of throwing you in the water to show you how to swim type of thing. And it's scary, but it really shows you if you're really cut out for this, for the career. And there are lessons that can't be taught out of book, and that's how I learned. I learned how to make the tasks my own. I executed them as if they were my own. I put in the same effort I would have if my name was on it, and that's a valuable lesson to carry through life. My most gratifying experience working with young studios in my film class, winning best performance for a music video they wrote, acted, and directed on their own. I gave them a concept and they developed it on their own. It was nice to see them enthusiastic about schoolwork. Kyle and I assisted on camera and we supervised the editing. It was my first time filming anything outside and moving locations to tell a story. And that experience helped me with my TV production class as well. So they kind of just went hand in hand because I was able to incorporate crew positions within the class. We had a director, we had a cameraman, we had I guess an unconventional floor manager, and everyone came together and they did a fabulous job. And it's a project that Kyle says he'll continue to use with each new group of film students. Although I know it's a rare case, and at first I could admit it was overwhelming, I'm glad to have taken my communication media electives at the same time that I was interning. I used many different facets from each class to perform my duties and to give ideas. While taking script writing, I was able to properly construct a script and a treatment. My new media production class gave me insight into different ways to inform the public, such as slideshows or blogs, which I used to promote young studios. Audio production was useful when editing the music for the music video that the kids did. And TV production gave me the tools needed to understand what it takes to direct and actually lead people to seeing your vision. Taking a film appreciation class gave me a background knowledge on what it takes to make a great film so that I knew what to look for and how to develop a film based on technicality. Without taking those classes first, I would have been completely lost and useless to Joe and his team, honestly. I feel that during my time, I was an asset, and I'm grateful for the experience. And I'm going to continue to work with Joe over the summer and gain as much knowledge as I can before I go back to school for my bachelor's in September. So thank you guys for this opportunity. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I hope that you guys continue to send people to Young Studios because it's a great learning environment, definitely. Bye.